Welcome to the A2Z Christian Life Radio Podcast, supporting the kingdom, promoting the kingdom, and having fun while doing it. And now, let's welcome your host, Nick and Shalonda Allen.
Joining us on today. This is our first episode, so if you've never tuned in to see us, it's going to be just like the podcast that we have with A2Z Christian Life.
Exactly.
We just we want to keep it light, and we just want to enjoy some fellowship, enjoy some word, some positive stories, and we just want to be able to laugh a little bit, and hopefully pray for somebody, something like that,
Well, we're so excited to be a part of the Praise.fm family.
Yes.
So thank you, Dr. Rain.
Thank you.
We're so excited to be a part of, the Stellar Award nominated.
radio station. That's right.
Come on
That's
now.
Right.
So we're
That's
super
right.
excited. I wish that I can greet all of you guys as you're in. But I'm going to have to greet you guys later because we're having a hard time seeing our comments and stuff right now.
Yeah, Facebook.
But we want to tell you guys we're so blessed. We're so honored to have so many supportive people in our life, man. We love you guys, man. You guys pull up for us. You guys support us, whatever we're trying to do.
Yep.
God has put so much in us. There's so many things that we have yet to birth. I mean, there's so many things that we're working on. We were working on the A2Z Christian Life Music Festival.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we had to postpone, but God has a plan. So we're just so grateful for all the support and those who understood. It wasn't something that we're doing, to make money or anything like that. It's truly to bring unity among the body of Christ here in our city here in the Valley. And that's what we plan to do. And we're not going to do it now, but we'll do it in the fall. But you keep praying, and we'll be announcing soon what's coming with the A2Z Christian Life Music Festival, where we'll be igniting the fire for revival. Come on.
Right. Yeah. We ended up having to cancel that. It wasn't really due to anything on our end, but just we had a scheduling conflict with one of our headliners. And we felt it best to go ahead and just cancel for the time being. Yeah. But like Shalonda just said, that doesn't mean that it's completely done.
Right.
Our vision is to bring a festival, a citywide festival, to the city of Phoenix with all of the greatest gospel singers, gospel and Christian singers that we can think of. And so that's still a vision for us, and we're going to do it. We are going to do it. So we're excited about what God is doing. I tell you, throughout this process, I know one thing, we've done a lot of praying. I think it was so funny. We said it on Andrea's show. It ain't just been regular prayer. I've been on Jesus' heels, it's on his heels.
It was more than just touching the hem of his garment. You know what I mean? I was on Jesus' neck. Like, how you doing, sir? How you doing today? So, of course, God answers, and he shows us, what he would, prefer. And all we can do is be obedient. So we're excited about what's coming. I think it's going to be greater. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be what God intended it to be. So you keep us in prayer about that.
Yes.
But anyway.
Wait, hold on. We got to talk about our shirts.
Oh.
Our shirts. Who are you wearing?
This is Minding My Vision. What does yours say?
Oh, mine says, walking in my purpose.
Yes.
I will stand up.
No.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but we're not actually on a couch. We're not actually on a couch.
No, we're not.
I think the whole couch idea just worked for the picture.
Well, it worked for the picture, but we got to give a shout out to Dr. Dre, Pastor Drea. Because it was actually her idea, the whole couch, Nick Shalonda on the couch type of thing. And if you really know us, if you ever come and hang out with us, if you ever come to our house to fellowship, it's exactly what we do. We sit on the couch and we just laugh. We have great conversations. So
now we did have a couch in the office.
We did, but Nick didn't think it felt good for his back.
It was making my back hurt. I was sitting all low in it, man. It was making my back hurt. Man.
Right.
Get up. Booty all sore.
Oh no!
Come on, man.
It was a sore.
It was sore, man. I didn't like, that lower lumbar. Is that what you call it?
Is that what that is?
Oh man, I don't know. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can't have my man uncomfortable, right?
But it's still Nick and Shalonda on the couch.
We on the couch. It's just it's not the couch is here in spirit.
We on the couch in spirit.
So we on the couch. Oh, sorry. So the shirts. Is that what you're trying to talk about?
Yes.
Yes. So if you want to order these shirts, we got these shirts to support our niece, Layla. And she has a nonprofit in Cleveland. She's doing great things. She's a young millennial and she's working hard to make change in her city. And I do believe every time you purchase some of her merch, I believe it goes towards her nonprofit and coping boxes that they make for the community.
What she did is during COVID, she came up with this idea for people who were stuck in the house, people who were, maybe singles or old or elderly or something like that, and you're stuck in the house and you can't go anywhere during COVID. She started sending out. Wait, what?
Did you say elderly? For the mature community.
The mature, there you go. There you go. People, the seasoned community.
Amen.
Season, I think of chicken when you say seasoned.
Anyway.
People who are seasoned. People who are seasoned and couldn't get out the house. Anyway, she started doing something great, which is that she started sending little coping boxes.
Yes.
With, things like masks and, snacks and bottled water and all that kind of stuff. And she was sending them out free to people in her community. So really, support her, man. She does incredible things, man. She's just an incredible young lady. My niece, who I'm very, very proud of.
Yes.
So get the shirts.
Get the shirts. And it's
Melanated Millennials.
Consulting.com.
Amen.
And it's Melanated Millennial Consulting.com.
Oh, consulting.
Yes.
I'm
Amen.
Get it right one day.
All right.
Jesus.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
So go ahead.
All right. Yo, man, I am so excited. Yo, look, I got my man in the house today. This is my guy, for real. Mr. Paul Porter. You all know him. He's got hits out with the Rance Allen group. He's got hits out with the Christianaires. Oh man, we've got Two Wings, Free with Smokey Norfolk. With Monica. The other song that I hear on Sirius all the time is with him and Monica Lisa Stevenson, called "I'm Not Ashamed."
Yes.
Yeah. That's the hit right there. I like hearing that. So, anyways, a quartet legend. When I say legend, this man is a legend in the quartet game. So, let's give it up, y'all, for Mr. Paul Porter. And all the hand claps came on.
Good evening.
Paul, how you doing, man?
Man, as we say in the South, it's on like a pot of neck bones, I'm happy to be a part of this, man. Thank y'all for inviting me. I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you for accepting the invitation, man. Look, man, I have known Paul for quite a long time. We used to do gigs with the Christianaires back in the day, all the time, man. I mean, literally since I think we were talking earlier, and the first time that I had seen Paul was back in 95, 96.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's how long, we've been on the road, kicking it with the Christianaires. Yeah, with Paul. And then later on, we went on to do some recordings, him along with the Rance Allen group, a couple of huge hits that we recorded with the Rance Allen group. But we're going to get into all of that. But first where I want to start with Paul, because I'll be honest. The first time that I seen Paul, they had to help Paul get on the stage because Paul went through a serious situation with his health. And Paul, what? Now you said this was an aneurysm. Am I correct?
Right, an aneurysm, and I think to explain it best, the doctor said if you braid your hair, the twill of a nerve, the end of the nerve came loose and started spurting blood slowly on the back of my brain.
Okay.
And I think one of the artists that I'm very familiar with is Karen Clark had an aneurysm, but it was in her leg or thigh or something like that. But I had this in the back of my brain, but it was in the perfect location for me to be a candidate for a gamma knife surgery, opposed to being cut on the skull or doing laser surgery. So they put my whole body in a machine called a gamma knife, and the doctors use something like, you know how the airplanes have these steering wheels like that. They had 2 thumb things doing the surgery, and it was successful, but it left me paralyzed because to get the swelling off the brain, they couldn't inject medicine directly to the brain, so they shot it inadvertently in my hips for about a month. And what it did was it started eating on my bones and my sockets like termites. And so it just paralyzed me. The brain surgery was successful. They made my family sign papers to say there would be some side effects, and that's what paralyzed me. So I went through a rough period from 96 to 2006. It was a 10-year period of mending of that aneurysm.
What was the first sign when you felt, that this was coming on? Was it like a sudden deal or?
Yeah, I was in Cleveland, Ohio doing a show. It was Shirley Caesar. I think Jonathan Slocum was the MC. Hezekiah Walker was on this concert. And it was, when we got there, I guess we got there kind of late on our tour bus, and we just jumped off the bus, dressed, went straight to the stage. And I started singing, man, and made it through almost the whole concert. And then all of a sudden, man, it just started like I always say it's like the cartoon, you know how the coyote and the road runner be fighting against each other, and he's always trying to drop that anvil down on well, something just hit me, man, just said boom, and my ears start ringing.
Now this happened on stage?
Yeah, I was on stage, but I was like maybe the final song. We had already did about a 30-minute set, and that last song, something just hit me. And little did I know, I thought I had a cold or the flu. So the guys escorted me off stage because I fell into the drums. And they said, well, while you're getting dressed, we're going to go out here and sign some autographs and greet people. And they said it must have took me an hour or so, because by the time I got finished dressing, but I couldn't dress right. Shirley Caesar was on stage doing her 2-hour set or whatever it was. But I struggled, and when I managed to feel my way to the record table, just holding on to the wall, when I sat down at the record table and started signing autographs, my brother tapped me on the shoulder. He said, man, do you know you signed the autographs up sideways and all that? And then slowly I didn't know that, my health was deteriorating. So God sustained me to leave Ohio. It was Columbus, Ohio, not Cleveland, and made it all the way back to Memphis, Tennessee on the tour bus. And that's when I was severely sick then, and they took me right into the emergency room. And from the emergency room, I could still hear the doctors talking. But he said he's had an aneurysm on the brain. We got to figure out what kind of surgery to do. And so I had to go through the 10-year process at that point.
Oh, wow. So at that point, I'm sure immediately they all started praying, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had a great support system. All of my family was there for me. But at one point, I lost everything, like my memory, my speech, my vision in my right eye. And so, my family had to come back and tell me, time after that, maybe a year and 6 months after that, what happened. And I was paralyzed, and I would say I went in a 10-year period from the bed to the wheelchair to the walker to the parallel bars to, get strength in my legs. But I'll tell anybody, as far as the healing process, it was a walk of faith. Even being paralyzed, I just felt like I said, Lord, I know you're not going to leave me here. I was walking before, and I believe I can do it again. So when I went to rehab, it was a strong will inside of me to believe every day that I was going to walk again, because I never felt any tingling in my legs for months. And then I just kept persevering when the doctor said I wouldn't walk. And they had a little board, just like when you go to school and they have these whiteboards, or some kind of meeting and they have these whiteboards up there where you could put different color magic markers on it.
Right.
Put that board under my feet with socks on, and it just kept sliding my legs back and forth like that. And one day when I got that tingle, I said, "Oh, it's all over." And I did every day of rehab faithfully.
Wow.
And then they had to perform surgeries on my sockets, and literally, like a man that really has at an old age, he has hip replacements. I literally had mine rebuilt. And so, so that's why I'm walking today. So I went from in the 10-year period to bed, the wheelchair walker, cane, and I dropped my cane for the last time. The doctor said try to get on without the cane, and I would never will forget the concert because we were in Detroit doing a serenade to Aretha Franklin, and that's when I put the cane away for the last time.
Doc, I know when you dropped that cane, you said it was during a concert?
Yeah, he told me to just try to stand for 30 minutes without it, and I had never done it before. And Aretha Franklin has this, before she passed away, she would have a Thanksgiving concert every year, and what she would do, instead of bringing in a lot of major celebrities, she would go back and get the people that were the cornerstones to Detroit. So I was like little Paul from Detroit. She would get all of the local groups and bring them back, and she would sit and not sing and let us serenade. She brought in Paul Morton and a couple of more, but it was mainly the artists that were known for being, a cornerstone in Detroit. So that was my hometown, and a lot of people think I'm from Mississippi, but I was born and raised in Detroit. So
I had no idea. You were born and raised in Detroit?
Really?
Born and raised in Detroit. My father was an auto worker, and we had a pretty normal childhood, but it gave me the best of both worlds because, of course, Motown was there. And we were highly influenced by Motown, even though we had to sneak and listen to it because my father was a strict disciplinarian, and he didn't want us to listen to any music but gospel. So while my daddy was bringing the records from Peacock and the Mighty Clouds of Joy, Sam Cooke, and all that in the front door, my brother, when he got a job, the oldest one, he was bringing in, the Jackson 5 and Gladys Knight and all of that. So when Dad would go to work, I would lay down at this, what we call the hi-fi. It was a hi-fi stereo. It had a speaker on each side.
Wait, is it the big wooden cabinet?
Yeah.
Man, I think everybody had one of those, man.
Yes. And then I would go from speaker to speaker, listening to every instrument, every element of music. And I didn't know at that time that at a young age, God was growing me to be a producer, for my group. But it was just the best of both worlds to get, both kinds of education at that time.
Man, that's dope. Hey, so I know when you got sick, you stayed on the road because, like I think I had mentioned this previously, that's where I had first seen you. Because I remember I can't remember where we were. It seems like it was somewhere down south, but we did a gig, and I remember my first time seeing you, they had to help you get on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Was there anybody at that time who said, Paul, just stay home, man, and chill, you don't need to be out on the road?
I can say that I went through a period of depression because at that time, let me put it this way, Christians were kind of like quartet rock stars at that time because of the fact that we were in the middle of that heat from Two Wings. And so we had purchased a Prevost bus instead of like one of those old school buses. We had a nice bus. We had a manager at the time. And so I would get on that bus and they would have to literally lift me up under my legs and put me on the bottom bunk. And while everybody's playing checkers and watching boxing matches and all that, I was laying there and I was going like, I'm the lead singer and I got to go out here and try to sing. Everybody's having fun. I would literally tell the guys, hey man, stop the bus, turn me around. I want to go home. And when I got home, it was playing tricks on me. The devil was just constantly talking to me. Look at you. You sang all over the world and look at you now. I was in that wheelchair, paralyzed. And so in Arizona, man, when I started to really increase my faith and start, believing that God was going to heal me completely, it just changed my mindset. But you can only imagine, I went through the depression of it, not wanting to sing anymore. I really felt like giving up, and he turned all that around for me. And even after the surgeries, you know, I still had another bout. You go back and you fall back in that same slump. But
was there like a specific moment where you just said, you know, I cannot be depressed like this? Was there, or was it just like in Detroit when you dropped that cane and you was like, I'm done with this?
Yeah, several times, man. I just kept telling myself it was really a strong faith walk and believing that God was going to give me complete healing. And there was a time when I think it was prior to, by the time I got to Aretha Franklin's concert, I was fully mentally just, I was ready, because I went through the rehab of, you know, putting the police car, like in elementary school, I had to put the police car with the puzzles with police with the police car, the firemen with that. And that was really depressing me, because they were going through the procedures that they had to go through, but we kept going through that. And I'm saying, I'm ready for something else. I'm okay now, but they just had to make sure, you know, that the mindset was good. And I made it through all of that. But to answer your question, prior to that Aretha Franklin concert, man, I went to the stage one night and I said, this is it. You know, I'm never gonna get out of that woe is me and that pity party. God has already given me my memory back, my speech back.
Right.
And I said, you know, I got to go out here and give somebody some hope and tell them and show them what a real miracle is.
Come on.
Now, is that the reason why? Because like, if you've ever seen Paul on stage, man, Paul is like straight fire.
Listen,
on stage.
No.
I have literally seen Paul lay down on the stage and sing and climb on chairs and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this cat, like performance, man. Oh my God, man! I like when I know Paul's gonna be there, I'm like, yo, I'm going to sit out in the audience and I'm gonna go watch Paul.
Right?
He's like that. Now, is that the reason why? Has that influenced your stage persona?
I think I'm stronger spiritually as, you know, being a person to give people hope. But before that, I was just a wide open guy before and after.
Right.
You know,
that's just you, huh?
Paul Porter was so glad to be out there and ministering to people and all that. The Paul Porter before I got sick, he was just like gung ho, you know, like so boom, when it's time to hit the stage. I could be joking around and talking to people and making people laugh and going up under their arms, coochie, coochie, coo. But by the time I get to the stage, it was just another me, man, a whole nother personality. It was almost like Clark Kent and Superman. You know, it was like, you're mild-mannered, and then you jump into this cape and everything and just get out there and go for it. So even after that, I just think God brought me back to that. Again, where I had the energy on stage, but more so, I had more of a reason to be out there singing, you know, because I used to sing about he'll heal you and, you know, this, that, and the other, but I had never experienced that kind of healing.
Yeah.
But when I experienced the healing,
it's different.
Yeah, it hit different, don't it? Testimony hit different.
You come from the heart so hard.
Yeah.
You know, so man, you know, it just literally, I mean, I must have cried a whole year after that, just testifying about it, you know, just on stage, man, it would bring tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man. So who do you credit? Who do you credit for your performance wise and, you know, the energy that you give? Did you study anybody or anything like that?
Oh my goodness!
Or is it just?
Man, I was just, you know, just like I say, with, you know, with us having the best of both worlds with the secular music and all that. I mean, I even had a Michael Jackson lunchbox, you know, because back then they had the cartoon and ABC and all those songs. So I would listen to that music, but as well, my dad, he had one artist that he would play that had the best of both, that was on both sides of the fence. Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke. He was at the top of his game with the Soul Stirrers. They were probably the biggest quartet at that time when Sam Cooke was with them. And then he left there and went even bigger on the side where he was doing Darling, You Send Me and all that. So Dad had all those records. I had never seen Sam Cooke, but I would listen to how smooth he was, how much of a transition he could make in his voice and elevated from different scales and stuff. But if you want to talk about the quartet guys, the quartet guy, and I really don't consider Bishop Rance a quartet singer. So, but at the end of the day, a lot of people do. But I'm just saying, he just had so much of a different appeal. So I would say Joe LaGun and Bishop Rance Allen, those two guys. Oh my God. What an influence on my career. And you know, and aside of that, I could kind of mimic Joe LaGun, but there was no way you were going to get into Rance Allen's realm, because even becoming an artist that had the opportunity to sing with him, I would be sitting up there while he's singing, thinking notes. I'm going like, okay, he's there. So when Rance would go high, I said, the best thing you could do is go to the basement. Did you hear what he said? But you know, I managed to stay up there with him because he starts off so high. So those two, Joe LaGun, and of course, if you say secular side, I would say, you know, Stevie Wonder was just an incredible songwriter, and everything like that. So I would listen to that kind of stuff until, you know, it just became a part of me to study my craft and do it, you know, on another level. And I managed to do a lot of things, man, that I never dreamed I would be able to do.
Oh, wow. Now, how did you actually get into? What was your first start with the Christianaires? How did they end up forming? Were the Christianaires around already? You joined them, or how did that work?
No, I'm an original member of the Christianaires, and what happened? My brother Tyrone, all of us were born and raised in Detroit. Not the Christianaires, but the family. My brother Charles was with the Christianaires, and also Tyrone. So when I was born and raised there, this is how Christianaires started off, a motivation from my brother. My brother was discovered because of the fact he was in a local group in Detroit. And I'm trying to make this fast. So he was in a local group in Detroit. And one night, and I guess he was 17 or 18, Clarence Fountain, who was a legend with the Blind Boys of Alabama, he quit that night and decided to go solo for 7 years. And that night, my brother had to ask permission because the Blind Boys heard him sing. And they said, we need this guy to lead the Blind Boys. And even though he wasn't blind, they said, well, we're just going to have to exempt that. We're going to have a guy that can see, because this guy can really kill it on stage.
You don't need a man that can see.
Yeah, so that night, my brother had to get on. My mother and father gave permission. He got on the road and had to learn the songs on the way to the next concert in another state. And to tie that into the Christianaires is, had it not been my brother doing it professionally for 7 years and coming back home, I don't think I'd ever would have pursued it as much.
Okay.
Because my daddy, they started us so young, until I was wavering in Detroit, you know, hanging out on the streets and with gangs and all that kind of stuff. I was in that environment. So by the time I got 16, my daddy retired from being an auto worker, and he wanted to go back to Mississippi where his family was raised and build a home. And that really put me in another kind of depression, because I thought I had my little childhood puppy love sweetheart, all my neighbors and friends. I had to just in one day leave them and relocate to Mississippi. And I got down to a dirt road where he was building the home, and there was just nothing around us. So that took me. So when I got there and my brother decided to move down as well, he said, you want to start another group? I said, oh no. I felt like I had a career from 9 to 17 being a lead singer. I felt like I had a career and I didn't get paid, but I was going like, oh no, I'm through with that. And we ran up on two cousins that were twins, Arnold and Ronald Brown. And so the first day I met them, he said, I'm going to take you to meet them, man, because he said they could really play guitar and bass. I'm going like, man, I don't want to meet no guys down here. I don't want to do this no more. So the first day that I got to meet them, we were coming down a dirt road, and they were coming out of the woods with boots on, with squirrels hanging out of their backpacks and rifles from hunting. I said,
"Oh, kidding me?"
I said,
"Oh, Lord, I
said,
can't.
No way am I going to sing with these guys." But all of a sudden, when we sat down together and they started playing their instruments, they had mastered R&B So much so that they were doing all of the events around there for, like plant parties, people that, were making blue jeans and stuff. They were doing all of those, and they were just, I mean, perfectly playing the Isley Brothers and all of that. So I said, man, these guys can really play. So it kind of brought me back up.
You just had no idea, huh?
Right.
And it didn't help that the Jackson Southerners, the Williams Brothers, and Willie Banks were from Mississippi. And I was going to Jackson, 60 miles away from Sontag, Mississippi, to see these guys. And I was going like, man, I want to do it like that. But I had already experienced my brother being in a professional group. So it was just like, man, I think we can do this again because these guys can really play.
Right.
Man, cool.
Okay.
All right.
No. So everybody, we're so glad that you're here. We have the legendary Paul Porter with us tonight. We're getting ready to take a break, and then we'll be back because we got to hear so much more of his testimony, his phenomenal story, you guys. All right, so stay right there.
Are you the next great independent artist, but you're looking for a distribution opportunity? Well, sign with us at Praise.fm Music Distribution. Yes, the 2021 Stellar Award nominated Praise.fm can handle it all. We understand the narrow road leading to getting your music heard at the right time at the right place can be tough. So send your music and video files to fmpraise@gmail.com. That's fmprayz@gmail.com. Praise.fm Music Distribution, affiliated with Sony Music and the Orchard Distributors.
Hi, I'm Alma. Hi, and I'm Raquel. And we are the Fisher Girls.
Praise.fm Music is proud to introduce the new label artist, the Fisher Girls. Stay tuned as this Gospel Choice Award-winning gospel duo releases their new song, Narrow Way, on Sony Orchard Music Distribution. Praise FM Music, the Fisher Girls. Praise.fm Music Distribution, affiliated with Sony Music and the Orchard Distributors.
Beautiful You, Inside and Out presents Arise, The Beauty in You, Conference 2022. Sunday, March 20th, 2022, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Musical guests, the Fisher Girls. Prophetic dancer, Alima. And your host, Dr. Yolanda Delphine. Speaker, Dr. Latrice Kusick. Speaker, Dr. Lady Rain. Please take note of the Zoom passcodes. Arise, the beauty in you. You don't want to miss it. Beautiful You, inside and out.
Have you ever wanted to host your own inspirational radio show? Have you been called to inspire and spread God's word? Please contact Alicia Rain for more info.
Welcome back to On the Couch with Nick and Shalonda. Amen. We're here with our guest still, Mr. Paul Porter. Amen. Paul is just cracking me up, man.
Yes.
I mean, some of the stories and stuff, man, that he's sharing with us, man.
Yes.
Like even
so
even while we're off the air, man, this guy is just complete fire, man. I mean, I love him so much, man. I love him so much.
Hey, you know what? When we were talking about, you talking about the first time that you seen him or you met him, I remember the first time I've seen you. And it was at the live recording for the Rance Allen group. It was when, I can't think of what year that was. It was For You That I Trust. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. I didn't know Nick. then. We weren't married.
Wow, you didn't even know him?
No, I didn't even know him, but I was in the front row.
Wow.
Yeah, I came with Bishop. I came with everybody, right? But I never actually. Did we even do that halfway meet and greet at that point?
No, we didn't.
Oh, we still haven't, huh?
I didn't know you from Eve.
Listen, he didn't know me at all then. So yeah, and so I remember when you got out there singing, man, you killed that. I mean, spin all the way around and well, both songs on Vessel and on You That I Trust.
Yeah, okay. Vessel is the one where he was singing and knocked over the TV monitor.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Paul was singing, and I don't know if he kicked his foot or something, man. Hit the whole TV monitor, and was like, he pointed at somebody at the front of the stage. Hey man, get that up for him.
And they kept it on tape because I was going like, I was so excited. I had spinned around and the teleprompter that Rance was reading on, Bishop Rance was reading the word off the teleprompter. I knocked it down. And I was going, oh yeah, bam. And so he had nothing to read. I had nothing to read.
Y'all didn't know what was going on.
I looked out in the audience. I said, hey man, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going crazy. Get that up. And they kept it on tape. But we had a great time.
Oh man, I remember I was on the drums and I seen that, man, and I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna have to edit this. This is gonna have to be edited.
With the editor, he missed that.
They just ended up just leaving it in there though.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool because it shows Paul, like, you know, in his rare form though.
There you go.
You know, I mean, it's organic. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, but the performance, the
spirit was there and it was high, and you could feel the anointing in the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just appreciate God for meeting you, Nick, and meeting Shalonda.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, that relationship with Bishop Rance Allen, when I first met him, I was so intimidated, and in awe and an honor to just know that here I am in front of Bishop Rance Allen. I didn't know what to say, how to act. And your father and Steve said, man, just relax, man. Everything's cool, you know. And so I never will forget this time. There was an actress, she played on the game. I think her name was Raquel Robinson. And we had did the Gospel Fest in Philadelphia or Baltimore, somewhere like that.
Okay.
And she was the host. And she was so excited to see Bishop Rance Allen. She came running into the lobby from outside. She said, oh my God, it's Rance Allen. So she went there and gave him this big hug. And Rance is looking around like, well, anybody, hey, what are y'all just sitting around? He didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing. And so when she walked off and everything, and she was done with all her hoopla, I love your music. I love it. He just sitting there like that. And then so when she walked off, he goes, real star, who was that? And at the end of the day, when they told him, he was going, oh my goodness, I could have took a picture.
Oh, she came at him so fast, he probably didn't even get a chance to see her face.
Yeah, but she was like, she couldn't believe the Rance Allen group was in the lobby. She was just excited.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God. That is so cool. Man, yeah. So as far as like you mentioned like, Bishop Rance being one of your idols. I know that you do a lot of the songs that you put out are songs where you do like guest appearances, because you did 2 of them with Bishop Rance. You did Vessel, and then you did You That I Trust. Right. Who are some of the other artists that you worked with?
Oh my goodness, man!
This is a long list. People don't even know.
It's a long list, and I tell people it's not bragging, but just the favor of God. I should have been in the Guinness Book of World Records for guest appearances. Now, all of them weren't hits, but when it comes down to guest appearing, I don't think it's probably any other quartet singer that has jumped on as many records as I have. You know, I've got Bishop Rance Allen was plus an honor, and we have literally, I sang on 6 songs with him, some on the same album, but he did my solo album, then I went and did his albums, 2 of them, and then he came back and did my Motown record. So that's 5, 6 songs. But the Canton Spirituals, I did Harvey's solo album and co-produced it, the Canton Spirituals. And how that came about, he said, man, I love listening to your records with the Christianaires. He said, if you're not producing them, because I see the credits as you producing them, he said, I love the quality of your sound. If you're not doing that, I want you to come and produce my solo album. And I said, man, you already got hits, Fix It, G's and all that. You don't need me, man. He said, well, you're going to have to prove it to me that you're making those albums that good. So here we go. I pulled together the band. I went and got Richard Gibb, who was Aretha Franklin's music director. I went and got Spanky, who was playing with Tony, and all of them, and put that band together, produced that album. That spin over into me doing the next record with the Canton Spirituals and the next record with the Canton Spirituals. So I worked with the Canton Spirituals, guest appeared on the songs, co-produced their records, wrote songs on their records. Then I went on to do a song with Smokey Norfolk on my Motown release. Also had a song out with Leandra Johnson and Ruben Studdard, the American Idol. Like I said, I have a couple of songs in the can with Casey. Then I did the Jackson Southerners, all the way back to the Truthette days. I did a song with Tutu and the Truthettes. And then coming back up, I did the Williams Brothers, Luther Barnes, Evelyn Turned Teenage, the Soul Seekers, Warren Campbell, and all of them. We had a song that was very catchy because a lot of kids and millennials were singing, somebody's got it down in their hand, feel it all over me. And they did so cute. But yeah, and so it's just been a long journey of guest appearing on records all over the country. Even choirs invited me to do songs. I did the National Baptist Convention Choirs album. Aretha Franklin, incidentally, was supposed to be on that record, but she didn't want to fly. So she didn't like flying. She didn't fly at that time, so she didn't come down. But we did that album. She was supposed to be on there with us. But end result, man, if I just went down the list, man, it's just been a long time. And I started adding up and saying, man, my music attorney, my entertainment attorney, he did a great job with negotiating with people, and I've had him in my career for 30 years. So I say to these young millennials, this is not only a ministry, but it's a business. Learn the business and have somebody represent you well, because I just don't even think I would have had a relationship with Bishop Rance Allen if not, working with record companies that were calling me to do things and I didn't know how to operate. So I just, encourage these young people, don't try to just shoot from the hip. Seek all the advice and the representation that you can to get your career going where it needs to go.
What would you say? What phase of your career are you in? I mean, are you at the status now to where you're looking for other artists to pour into? Are there some other artists out there who you're currently pouring into and bringing up?
I've always, what I call custom albums is people that haven't really recorded a national record. I've been doing those guest appearances a lot. So I didn't even add that to the other side. But yeah, I'm looking to do some things with some young artists that are coming out, because there's so much talent out here now. Young millennials, even though record companies are kind of almost falling by the wayside, I'm still interested in just getting about 5 artists that are young and innovative.
That's good.
Creative. Because they're doing it a whole nother way. And, when I think back to the times when we were traveling and we would get young musicians then, the young musicians now, if you could play bass, guitar, and drums back then, you were great. But these guys, they can jump from the bass to the keyboard to the drums to the synthesizer to the, they can play 5, they can do it all.
Right.
And so, you just have to kind of, get them seasoned and tame them a little bit, groom them a little bit. and pull back some of their ego that they have, because they can play everything. And I'm not criticizing them, but some of the young ones feel like, hey, they're gung-ho and they run out there and they don't have any business, and then they feel like the world is theirs, but they don't have it, and then they get disappointed because some of the veterans will pull them right back down. But I'm just saying, the best thing you can have is that representation and all that. But I would love to work with some of the groups that are out there now that are really doing it well.
What do you see for the future of Quartet, though? Is it something that is that future or Quartet music, is it going to expand in the future?
Well, here's what everybody says. Quartet music is dying. This, that, and the other. As long as you got gospel music, and long as God exists, I mean, he said, as long as you can put the word in a song, every genre of music will be alive. I just believe that, because as long as you can talk about Jesus, the people that used to come to my concerts, and the little girls that used to come in the Bobby socks, now they're dressed up in dresses and they're singing, having actual groups. So they grew up in this. So it's just a new generation, a new way. But I just don't ever see Quartet leaving. It may be smaller, it may be larger. I don't know which way it's going, but I do know, I believe all of it will be here forever, because as long as you can sing about the word of God, there's a platform for you.
Right. I know you had mentioned working with lots of younger artists. I mean, so definitely, even like different collaborations. I mean, do you see, you think more of that? Do you see more of the collaborations with more contemporary and gospel, or, because, you hear a lot of opinions now. A lot of people think, our gospel music is a little boring. It's like, there's no real.
Well, I've never stopped. Just like we were talking about, the song that last year, 2021, went to #1 with Monica Lisa Stevenson on Billboard. And at the end of the day, I'm always seeking new opportunities with my lawyer to jump in and do that. And then by me also calling myself an actor at this point, I've been in like 15, 20, 30 plays. I don't know how many, with Bernadette Stanis from Good Times.
Oh, yeah.
Montel Jordan, Johnny Gill, Silk, just the list goes on. A lot of plays with what is her name? Shirley Murdoch and all of that, and Tamika Scott from Escape. So jumping in on that side, and that I got a chance to operate with different kinds of music and sing, along with Tony Terry and all those people. So in that, it just always opens my mind to, be a multi-streamer and a multi-tasker, where whatever the challenge is for Paul Porter, I think I've jumped the fence a lot, because, like you say, going to, different things. Well, in my past, as a quartet singer, singing a song with Smokey Norfolk, I was like, this is not supposed to happen.
Right.
And then singing a song with Leandria, then singing a song with
breaking down walls and breaking down barriers,
then singing a song with Ruben Studdard. And so it's just been an exciting run. And I never want to stroke myself and brag about it, but I'm just telling people out there, young folks, man, the opportunities are there, but you have to open your mind.
That's right.
To the vision of the possibilities, and then, take the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's just so much power in collaboration, and I see it, even with, your body of work. I mean, you actually see that. You're an example of that. I love that.
Yep. Hey, Paul, so real quick, what I wanted to get into, and I just, maybe it's just something I just want to pick your opinion about, man. You see, some of the things that are going on in the world, as far as like, the war, over in the Ukraine, and, different things that are going on. Seem like there's something, new in the news all the time. People, man, it's easy to have your faith, just really shook at this point, especially when they're talking about, nuclear war and all that kind of stuff, How do you remain in your faith without it wavering, or does it waver, or give me that scenario?
Well, I guess I've become seasoned in Christ, and at the end of the day, he's already just shown us. Let's eliminate what's just happened with Ukraine. And let's just a few steps back and let's go to George with the situation.
George Floyd.
It touched the world as far as the racial barriers. Then we had the situation where a young man was killed, I think, running down the street, Ahmaud. And justice was served. And when we see all of these situations happening, and then here out of nowhere, COVID, a disease comes and takes over the whole country.
Come on.
That's what increases my faith, because for God to sustain me through all of this, because I realized that I could have been Ahmaud, I could have been George.
Amen.
So now, even with the COVID situation, God sustained us for another chance.
That's right.
So this is what increases my faith even more, to believe that God is still in control no matter what the disaster. The key factor is I had a chance to run into Steve Harvey, and I was in his office for 3 hours, and he mentored me, and it was like free college. He said, always look at your glass. If a disaster hits, if you got a full glass of water, it always look at it like when I lost my mother, that was a disaster because I was a mama's boy. He said, instead of looking, you can look at it two ways. You can look at your glass either half empty or half full when disaster hits. But if you look at it half full, you're going to say, how do I get it back full? But if you look at it half empty, you're looking at it and saying, I'm on my way out. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, anytime disaster hits, whether it be in the world or in my personal life, I'm saying, well, how do we get this glass back full?
That's right.
Faith and believing that God has brought us through this, that, whether it's COVID, whether it's the George situation, Ahmaud situation, whether it's Ukraine, all of that, I'm trusting in the Lord, because it says, when you trust in the Lord, lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him. He didn't say, I'll think about it, or maybe he said, I shall direct your path.
That's right.
So in that, that's why I haven't wavered, because I'm kind of seasoning and reading the word to the point that I'm understanding what I have to do when disaster hits.
That's right. Prepared.
Man, that's good word.
Amen.
Good word. Yeah.
That was a word right there.
Yeah. So, hey, man, my uncle, maybe I just wanted to tell you this. I know it's kind of a, detour to what, we're talking about, but, man, I just wanted you to know, man, my Uncle Ranch really, really just enjoyed having you around, man. I think that's the reason why, we ended up recording with you 2 times, man. Just because, on a personal note, like without you knowing, I'm sure he probably told you, man, hey, I like you. But just on a personal note, he even shared with me, man, I really, really like that guy, Paul, man. Paul is an excellent dude, man.
Well, I'm going to tell you, your father and Steve broke the ice for me, because I was so timid around him. Because if you think about it, before Kirk Franklin, before Paul Porter and Christianaires and all of this, Bishop Rance was already iconic. He had already done a movie. He already had a big song, I Belong to You, on secular radio with gospel. And he was on Stax Records, so at the end of the day, this man was already seeing stadiums of people performing and opening. He was telling me stories about when he was singing with the Isaac Hayes and Johnny Taylor and the Staple Singers when they were on Stax. He was over there
opening up for the Jackson 5.
Yeah, and never saw the gospel side. Maybe for 3 straight years they were touring with that kind of situation. So he was iconic at that time. So by the time you get to a Kirk Franklin, it just, it maximized what was already huge.
Right.
And then so for me to even meet, what I had been listening to all this time, I was listening back to when he was doing the fast runs like, and I'm going, ooh, I'd give anything to meet this man. So one day he calls me up and says, I want you to come to the Truth Marches On conference. We'd never sang together. I just see y'all on the road and all of that. But it was like, hey, from a distance, we'd be running different directions. But when he told me to come to the Truth, I started trembling in my boots, man. Because Oh my God, I'm gonna really be up close on this man. So it was so strange because he called all these singers to preach. There was Shirley Caesar, Ty Tribbett, Marvin Sapp, but I was the vocalist for that.
I remember that, man, like it was yesterday. Oh my God. Go ahead.
I was the psalmist for the whole event while they were preaching. And I was going like, I can't even believe I'm in this room with all these people. So after that was over, we did that a couple of years in a row. I just took the guts to say, Bishop Rance, would you sing on this song? So what I did, I went and produced the whole song before I sent it to him instead of just sending him a demo. And I sang it. I never sung his part, but I just sang the whole song. So he called me back in the soft voice and he still goes. And this was before You Did I Trust, because literally Rance Allen, people don't know, he sang on my record first, but by being 2008, the recession hit and they didn't promote that record that well. So when I asked him, he said, hey man, he called me back. I might take a stab at this because who did the production on it? I said, I did. Who wrote the song? I did. Hey man, you did a great job. So when he hung up the phone, I said, yes, I talked to Rance Allen. He'll never say it. I'm going like, this will never happen. And man, when Chris Bird sent me that track back and Bishop Rance Allen was he killed that track. I had to go back and relay my track, and I was like on my knees trying to get some notes to kind of just compliment what he was doing, because he was so powerful. And that started the stronger relationship that moved it into the second time when we did You Did I Trust. And when he called me, he's always talking so soft, and he said, hey man, I might need you to. I said, Bishop, stop right there. You don't need nobody to sing on your records. But if you want me, and I'll go back to the millennials and tell them about business. I said, if you want me to sing on this record, we can handle the particulars later because I got that covered. But at the end of the day, I want you to know I'm on it if you want me. And so that's how You Did I Trust became history.
Wow.
Hey, so you mentioned producing that song. What was your journey to becoming a producer? Because one of the things I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know that you produce music. I'm sure the people who you produce for, they know that, but a lot of your fans and people that follow you and listen to your music, I'm pretty sure that they don't know that you produce.
It was really kind of a position I fell into, because when you really know what you want with your group and the people are not giving it to you. So the first album we got in the studio, we were calling ourselves trying to produce it, but we had a white guy, so to speak, producing our album. And I was going like, man, this doesn't feel right. This feels like two worlds in one thing, and we're not portraying our message. And so the second album, he said, well, I'm going to take the reins off of you, man, and let you just, show us what you really want. And that's when we came up with this song called Ain't No Way I Can Lose. And I was kind of leery about putting that song out because, it was kind of a slang and not proper English. But then when I started looking back on Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and all those songs had been hits, I said, well, I'm going to put this song out. Ain't No Way I Can Lose. And that song was
Ain't No Way.
Yeah. And we signed our first record deal with Atlanta International. At that time, FC Barnes was the hottest thing on Atlanta International Records, and they went gold. They were going gold. So the man had a cigar at that time. People just like smoking crazy in buildings. He had this big old cigar sitting at the office. If you can cut a song like FC Barnes and James Brown, then we're gonna have a hit. And I was going like, I told the man, I said, man, we don't have that style. I mean, we're not, we can't compromise our style. And that's what put me in the production seat and guiding the Christianaires into what we were, that we became. And from that, people started listening to our productions and then saying, hey, would you come over here and co-produce this or write a song on the album or all that? And so the rest is history. I started producing. Like I say, I co-produced with Melvin and Doug Williams on my projects. I co-produced Melvin's solo album. Melvin Williams, and then I co-produced Harvey's solo album and 3 Canton Spiritual records, and the list goes on and on from there.
Wow. Just an incredible career, man. Just everything, man. I just want to say, man, it's just been a pleasure, man. Just, seeing you on the road and, being able to say that I know Paul Porter. Man. Just incredible, man. I kid you not, man.
Well, you know what? Look, I mean, you're saying that, Nick, and you're being modest. And Shalonda, you're saying that you met Nick at the You That I Trust. But I always looked at these guys that I was so scared to speak to them because they were the Rance Allen group. And, it was just an honor. Every time I would meet them, I would look around, hey, man, what's going on, man? But I was even scared to shake their hands at one point. But once your dad and Steve told me to loosen up, because I was looking at, man, these are icons. These guys are off the planet. And you guys were just so down to earth, like, hey, man, let's get it done, man. Let's go in there, man. I'm like,
man. Look, Paul is being modest, man, because Paul, I don't see how you claim you was nervous, man. But Paul would come into the dressing room, man, and it's like, okay, this dude should not, he's an incredible singer, but this dude should not be singing. He should be doing some stand-up comedy, because Paul would come into the room and just have us floored, literally, man.
Man, after I, broke the ice with Bishop, I knew I could, tickle him a little bit. Man, I was just going for what I knew then. I was trying to keep that relationship solid, man. And to think that it spanned over 20 years, man, that's just incredible. That we worked together that long, man. And you're talking about a devastation when I got the news, man. It was just like I had lost a father. And he's just he was a mentor in my life. He told me so many road trip stories and business stories about, what went left and what went right and what they experienced on the road that I had never seen. It was just such a great teaching in his humbleness. And I even saw him where he called himself fussing, and he would fuss off because I was about to quit. But look, he would do this. I was like, Bishop, I don't know if I'm gonna do this anymore, man. I'm 20 something years in, man. I'm gonna let it go. He's no. He's fussing now. He's fussing just like that. You can't quit now. He was that soft spoken, but it was really like he was going, man, you can't do that. But he was, no.
That was him, man. That was him.
That was him arguing at me. So I said, you call yourself arguing. You call yourself telling me.
You're like, okay.
Just such a humble spirit. And just, he was like a lion on stage and a soft-spoken, humble man off stage. And so to learn that of him, it was just a special love, man. But the whole group, man, especially all of you, man, he was such, your husband's just a phenomenal drummer. I mean, he do it like,
thank you, Paul.
Look, he does it with no expression. He'd be sitting up there like, the drums are sounding like this. He's sitting there going like, yeah, somebody pass me some Cheetos.
Some Cheetos.
I mean, because he's just killing the drums. It's just like barely, no expression.
No expression.
So, yeah,
man. Yeah. Hey, so before, because I know we're getting ready to wrap up in a little bit, but what do you got coming up? What's next for Paul Porter?
I'm working on a solo album, and I got about 5 songs in the can on that. I have 2 Christian Earth albums almost finished. I'm about to release the single within the next 2 months. We're just getting ready to go in and mix the single. I have Keith Wonderboy on the single because I figured we're the 2 guys that's about around the same age that we're the left of the Mohicans. So he's going to be guest appearing on the Christian Earth's new single. Also, I just got a call to do another play because they're opening up now and they feel like that. So we're going to be doing some play with some of Tyler Perry's people, but they're going to be in another play on their off season.
Okay.
And, also, I got a book that I'm trying to write, but what I'm really excited about is I just finished my first episode of an 8-episode podcast show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's the name? Plug the name.
We don't have it yet. We just did, just like you guys said, this is y'all first. Y'all
you working on
name
it.
and everything.
Okay.
But I have one episode in the can without a name.
Okay, that's okay. Hey,
so y'all, I'm really letting the cat out the bag on your show.
Hey man, you could also bring it to Praise FM too.
Hey,
we definitely want y'all to know about it.
Dr. Rain would love to have you.
Dr. Lady Rain would love to have Paul Porter on Praise FM. Well,
I love relationships and I love y'all like family. Y'all know that. You. And I appreciate you guys for even thinking enough of me to come on. And I'm not just being humble. I mean, like just exaggerating. I'll say this until I get off. No, my mama said, always tell it like it T.I. is.
Come on.
When your husband called me and said, I want you, I said, dude, when? I was in my high voice. I said, don't make me get in my high voice. I mean, I'm just a huge fan of Ransom Group. So, he's been a friend of ours for years. And, that smile that you always carry. So, praise God for y'all ministry that y'all doing now. I thank God for everything that he's blessing you through. And y'all innovators, y'all ain't gonna stop. Y'all on that 10-speed rolling high.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, Paul, we're gonna have you out here, man, because what we're trying to do is, we're in Phoenix, man, and the gospel music scene in Phoenix is, how would you say, a little boring, maybe?
A little dry.
Well, a lot. Lady Rain in the back, she said a lot.
Come out there and put some seasoning on it, because we're the old veterans that got to run in there and give them something, like a barbecue sandwich.
Hey, come on!
This got a little flavor in it.
Right. You can't miss a good barbecue sandwich.
We want to try to bring you out here, man. So we're gonna talk about that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Anytime y'all call, here I come. Just make sure y'all have some kind of Southern style, something, some fried chicken or.
I got you, Doc. I cooks too.
Oh yeah, Nick's a chef on his part time. In the meantime, in between time.
Oh my God! We got a saying about that. Hush your mouth wide open.
Hush your mouth wide open.
I mean, this brother grills meatloaf. And
my goodness!
Yeah, man. You can grill a meatloaf.
On my way. OMW, on my way.
Come on, Doc.
Better come on.
Full meal.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese that just stretch.
Oh Lord,
I'm your child. Lord, I'm your child. Yeah, man.
Yes, we're just so honored to have you on with us today. You guys, make sure I tag Paul Porter's Instagram or their Facebook, so you guys can make sure you follow him. And I believe it's official Paul Porter.
Don't go to the official one, but the other one that just says Paul Porter.
Okay.
All information, it tags into everything.
Okay,
it just says
perfect.
Paul Porter. And you go there, you can get my booking agent, how to get me, what I'm doing now, this, that, and the other, the new stuff that's coming out, everything. You will know about it right there on my Facebook page.
Perfect.
Man.
Thank you again so much. It has been an absolute blessing.
Thank you.
We didn't even finish. We didn't finish when he said when he dropped. When he got rid of the cane when he was in Detroit. I mean, we were right there, and we didn't. Anyway, we'll finish that on the end between us.
Y'all call me back. I'll come back. I'll come back in part 2.
Right, we'll come back for part 2, or part 2 might be your show on Praise.fm.
There you go.
Right. See, there you go. And that's the plug, right? So if you do want a show on Praise.fm, you make sure you reach out, everybody, and get with Dr. Rain.
Yeah. If y'all want to see Paul Porter on Praise FM, definitely reach out.
Please.
Yes.
Reach out to Dr. Lady Rain.
Yep.
And Paul.
And Paul.
Yeah.
And Paul. Thank you guys so much. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Paul.
Bye, y'all. I love y'all.
Love you.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Shalonda.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dr. Rain.
You are tuned in to that praisey station, Praise.fm, where we get our praise on. 24 hours, 7 days a week.